listening to
What the Tech?
Welcome to the What the Tech podcast, where we talk about business and office technology and put our 20 years of expertise to discussing trends and issues impacting the workplace.
Welcome to What the Tech. I'm Rolando.
And I am Dave.
And we are your co-hosts for the podcast, What the Tech, where we speak to business and tech influencers to gain their insights in today's evolving business world, Dave.
This is true. And hey, listen, before we get into the show, I want to give big props to a past guest of ours, Rolando.
Yes.
Professor Arshia Khan. Professor Arshia Khan. She chatted with us last week. She's a professor at the Swenson College of Science and Engineering at the University of Minnesota, Duluth. I practiced that 9 times and I still flubbed it up. But listen, we had a great conversation with her, Rolando. She's doing some amazing things with AI and robotics.
Man.
And, it's within the healthcare industry, right? She's working with elderly care and patients with dementia.
And how much the elderly patients trusted the robots. That's what surprised me the most about that. She had a bunch of other things, but yeah, talking about trusting a robot was more than their own kids, which was fascinating.
That was fascinating. So listen, what a great podcast. I'm really looking forward to following her, learning more from her. And listen, if you like that podcast out there, you can check that out and others at circuitloops.com.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Let's intro our guest, Felecia Freely. What can I say about her? But I'm going to say something about her because she is an awesome person. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more. If you have not heard of Felecia, let me tell you that she is a software engineer, a designer, an author, and a content creator with keen interest in community, sociology, philosophy, and technology. She's also a maven on TikTok, where she has amassed a loyal following of, get this, Dave, 600,000 followers. And she's looking to launch a new app. We'll ask her about that as well. You know what? She's also had multiple videos gone viral all the while without having to dance. I don't know how she does it, but she does it somehow. And they've garnered tens of millions of views. Welcome to What the Tech, Felecia Freely.
Thank you. That was an amazing intro.
Let me give you a proper Yahoo!
Yes, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. I've been dying to have you on again. You kicked off when we started doing some different things. You're on season 1, and now we wanted to have you on there. I know we don't have enough time to ask you all the questions that we want to, but we're going to try to squeeze a bunch of stuff in there. And I know, Dave, before we jump into all the insights from Felecia and all the things that she has to offer, I know you have a couple of words from our sponsor.
Listen, a couple words from our sponsor, Circuit Loops. You're probably paying for slow, outdated business internet. Stop doing that. Why would you do that, Rolando? Everybody's paying too much. They're not getting enough value for your dollar. I'll tell you, with your internet, it is the lifeblood of your business because seconds matter and nobody has time to wait, especially Felecia. She's not waiting much longer. So I'll get through this read. Oh, listen, Felecia, so less than a cup of coffee. Are you a coffee drinker, Felecia?
A newfound one, yeah.
A newfound coffee drinker.
I'm really a tea drinker. If anything, I'm a matcha lover.
Okay.
Addict really is the appropriate term.
Specific.
But I do drink coffee. I love a good cup of coffee.
All right.
Listen, a good cup of coffee is something to be enjoyed. It's something to get the day going. For less cost than the cup of coffee per day, you can have the backup internet for unseen outages, which can be costly for some organizations. And it's the only way to communicate with your patients and with your clients. If your internet's out, you are out, Jack. So the best protection for that, Felecia, is to have backup business internet. It's not very expensive. It's a nice little insurance policy, and it will keep your operation running. So go to circuitloops.com for instant quotes on backup wireless internet. fast fiber and broadband. And the best part of this, Felicia, is that you can get a personalized business proposal in less than 60 seconds. You don't even have to introduce a human element. If you don't want to do if you don't want salespeople to call you and give you your price and try to upsell you, you got to check out circuitloops.com.
I'm sure people like her and others who are growing entrepreneurs and growing business can appreciate not having to wait for a rep that's probably in Vegas or Hawaii on some trade show or a conference floor. I'm that type of person. I don't like waiting. So go get your quote right now on circuitloops.com. So I want to jump in. Now we back off of that, right off of that read, Dave. I want to jump into technology with somebody that I really respect a whole bunch. And I want to ask her, I consider myself a nerd, and no offense to you or anyway, I would say you're a nerd because you're
Oh,
an
yeah.
intellectual person. And I mean that in a loving way, not in a derogatory way. So as a fellow nerd, what are you nerding out on from a technology standpoint right now?
Ooh, that is such a good question. There's a lot of talk going on right now about ChatGPT,
Ooh, yes.
which is this game-changing AI that has just been launched by OpenAI, which I believe that's Sam Altman, who is someone who I've watched many of his lectures. I believe that he's behind it and he is an AI guy. And so this new product has come out and it's been interesting for a few different reasons. One, the actual tech itself is super impressive. But what I think is even perhaps equally impressive or maybe even more impressive is the amount of press that it has gotten on social media. These videos have gone viral. Multiple videos have gone viral. Entire feed is pretty much taken up with this stuff to the point where I've had to teach the algorithm, okay, I'm done with this. I don't need 10 videos in a row. And so I've had to do my thing and teach the algorithm, all right, this is a little bit too much. But there are so many videos about this. And so it's also a social phenomenon that's going on right now as well a technological one. And so I think that has been very interesting to dig into. And yeah, have you guys checked it out at
Yes,
all?
I have. I saw this week the product manager for LinkedIn sent out a post. He put out a post and he in talking about it. And I said, "Hey, when are you going to bring this to LinkedIn?" And he promptly replied, "What do you want?" And which I was shocked. What do you want? And I would imagine as a content creator, there's all kinds of challenges. And I know there is for us. I'm sure there is for you, Felicia, when you're putting content together and things that would bring either the engagement piece with comments to life or the actual post. Now, TikTok is more of a visual platform. LinkedIn is a mix, so you can put text as well as videos, but bringing some text posts to life, like if you put something in quotes or some symbol and then picture of people at the office, right? And it's a post about something about the office, but then you have a visual that you are trying, you don't have to search around. It's just already incorporated into the platform. And it's something that's connected to AI on the background. Now, that's not the chat. That's more like the Dolly version of that, but it's essentially
Yes.
coming from the same.
There's an AI renaissance
Yes,
happening
yes.
right
It's
now.
that philosophy of using AI to bring to life what you're talking about. In your case, it's more conversational. Like you could put this chat in to make it a smart human chat bot or even write things for you. You put in a word or a sentence and it fills in a whole idea that you have, which I saw a couple examples on my LinkedIn feed and I was impressed. People that said, this was written by the chat AI. And it was a paragraph and it sounded like a human conversation.
It's absolutely insane. Because I am a technologist, but I also am into sociology, philosophy. I think I have a particularly well-rounded view of what could be possibly going on as well. And as business guys, I would love your insight into this as well. This idea that I've been playing around with and talking about with my
Ooh,
husband.
tell me more.
Because my husband is he's a community manager for an AI company. And so him and I have had a bunch of philosophical talks about this in the past couple of days and weeks. So one of the things that I cannot ignore when it comes to Chat GPT is what I believe to be a lack of proper incentive structure when it comes to this thing. So for example, like you're saying, and like we're saying, there is an AI renaissance that is happening right now. And that's happening in the form of ChatGPT, which is about actual communication and dialogue, but it's also happening in regards to AI art, right? And some of the use cases for ChatGPT that we're seeing circulate on the internet right now include things like it can write you a song, it can write you a poem. So, one of the things that I've been thinking about and I haven't been able to ignore is the fact that this technology that's coming out right now happens to be doing things that human beings historically have not really figured out how to be properly monetized for. So think about how useful is it that we have a tool that can write us poems when we have actual poets who are not being paid for their art?
Right.
Or how impactful could this technology be that we have AI generators existing right now and emerging that are amazing. However, there are so many artists that already exist, human beings that cannot get paid for their art. So I think that it brings upon this technological question, maybe even a philosophical question of this technology can be great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it has a monumental impact on a society, because that is going to be based on things like incentive structures, supply and demand, a bunch of other social systems that exist. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I believe that it's much more likely that this kind of technology is going to be bought and swallowed by an incumbent company, right? And we've seen this happen historically when it comes to these kind of AI things before. I don't know if you guys remember, but maybe 10 years ago, a similar movement was happening when it comes to like voice AI. And it was this mind blowing thing. Oh, you can talk to this thing and it can talk to you back. And everyone was like,
Right.
whoa, this is insane. But where did that really end up emerging in our society? Where do we end up seeing the results of that technology? Well, now when you call up your bank, you're not talking to a human immediately. You're talking to this machine. And
Right.
it can be not great when amazing technology comes out, but we just can't find a use case that actually changes our lives. And so, yeah, that's what I've been nerding out on lately.
AI should be more than a customer service tool.
Yes.
And it's funny when I had to call my bank recently, Rolando, and I
Mhm.
said the AI was asking me to talk to it to tell it where I need to go. And I wasn't being nice. I'm talking to a computer. And my son was in the other room and he said to my wife, who is dad talking to so rudely? And I heard him say that. I'm like, "Oh, I don't talk to people like that." He's like, "You just were." I said, "No, it was the AI." He's like, I get it. I get it." But yeah,
Exactly.
there should be more to it than customer service
Yes.
for sure.
You know that
ChatGPT is amazing. I would
it is.
just hate for this to end up being something that becomes a pop-up every time that you visit a website.
It's inevitably gonna go there because especially the larger the company, the more likely they're gonna adopt this because it has the potential to save money with fewer human interactions. Human interactions in a call center are generally viewed as a cost sink to a
Mhm.
business, especially the larger companies that have maybe multiple call centers. They're trying to find a way, if they're growing, how to cut costs. So this can do that. I just saw a stat where when chatbots first came out, they were a little bit clunky, but people have become accustomed to the use of chatbots, and it's saved a ton of money for enterprises that use chatbots, and they're getting better. And I've seen this has the next, this is like the next greatest version of being implemented into a chatbot, into
Yes.
telephone bank where you're interacting with a virtual person. And some technologies just don't take off right away. Look at how long we've been talking about VR glasses, right? Virtual reality. It's still there, but not everybody's using it. It has the potential, but it's taking time to get the technology there. And sometimes there's a catalyst. And I guess the surefire catalyst hasn't really hit where everybody's got to have this. Businesses have to have it. The infrastructure is there. I think that 5G to the home has some capabilities to allow more of that. A lot of folks don't have 1 gig internet at their home.
Right.
Still, other countries have that and at a cheaper price than we do. And I think that is one of the obstacles with some technologies, especially if you need bandwidth to stream data back and forth and you have multiple devices at work or at home, especially.
Absolutely. Completely agree. Another way of saying what you're saying would be that even if this does end up just becoming the next add-on, the next API that takes these website chatbots to the next level. Even that is an improvement to our society, especially if it's effective and the dialogue is accurate. That is a net positive regardless.
It's being able to give the customer what they need. And if they accept it, then so be it. I'm all for technology that improves lives. And obviously it has the potential to do some really weird and crazy things. But there may come a day when all of this technology, and as we wrap that back into the content creation side, you can have a fully virtual actor that can create content. And if you take that even further, a platform that then incorporates that actor and creates the whole entire video for you with the virtual actor.
Exactly. And I've
How
got to
cool.
come clean, guys, because as I was playing around with ChatGPT, I knew that this podcast was coming up. And so I
Mhm.
said, I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in great podcast questions for Felicia for the win.
Yeah.
And nothing came up. But then I did some digging and I learned that it's because it's not connected to the internet yet. But can you imagine whenever it gets connected to the internet and it's able to parse all of that data? That would be amazing. So maybe this is just, hopefully, and probably, this is just the beginning of something that we can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Dave, you remember that video we saw? Maybe it must have been last year. I think it was not it was the open AI, and they had a bot, a virtual bot that was connected to the internet, and it was able to respond with human-like responses about emotion. How do you like asking the AI, how do you feel about working with humans? And it had a very interesting response. It wasn't clunky. I'm not programmed to think, or I'm not
Hmm.
programmed to feel emotion. It gave a response that was connected with emotion because it was connected to the internet.
That's insane. So it was able to essentially reverse engineer human emotion to some degree based on millions probably of articles found on the
Yes.
internet and say, this is
Yeah.
how this would be an appropriate answer if I could feel something. And
Yeah.
that is essentially now we're arriving at the basic premise of the Turing test, right? Where it's how do you know that this answer is a reflection of this AI being self aware and not a
Mhm.
reflection of it just being super smart? That distinction there. So, yeah, it's going to be really cool to see what happens in the next 10 years.
We were talking about this with our last guest, Dr. Khan over in the University of Minnesota, Duluth, about consciousness and robots and AI. And I said, is Skynet going to take over? Because that's the fear here in the US, more so than like Asian countries in Japan, where they fully embrace robots. Here it's no. Dude, like in Will Smith's movie, I tell her, Will Smith's movie, I, Robot. I can't wait till the made version, the house version. So
Yeah,
everything stays tidy and clean and maybe some cooking too. And she's like, I can't wait for that.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
But it wasn't the cooking and cleaning. So what we learned last week from the professor was picture an AI robot in an elderly care home. The robot wasn't cooking and cleaning. The robot was interacting with the patients, freeing up the human to go do the cooking and cleaning. Isn't that
And
what
also
was
Interesting.
leading
happening there?
yoga, right? Didn't you tell us you leading
Yoga, joke, the,
jokes?
the
They want the dirty jokes. The elderly patients want the robot to tell it dirty jokes. So that was to me like the
Exactly.
funniest thing.
meanwhile, the person that the human activity was then freed up to go do just you take a break. Mental health so important. You got to take a 10-minute break. It was removing a lot of the frustration from the human to human interaction. My parents are in their 70s. I will have the same conversation 3 times in a row with my mom, and I'll get frustrated, but the robots don't get frustrated. So that's like they're playing off the fact that they don't have some of these human emotions as one of their strengths. And that was one of the things that I really liked.
That
Man,
is really interesting.
it was really wild. You know what's wild, Felicia? And that's one of the reasons I like bringing you on. I learned something new. Every time I watch your video or you come on, you drop some knowledge on us. I was just looking at some videos that I haven't seen because sometimes I get a video from 3 months ago, sometimes
Right.
from yesterday. Who knows? Sometimes TikTok just plays around and showing videos and what's on your For You page. I saw you had a video that hit over 19 million views. 19.4, I think when I looked at it, it's almost 20 million views by
Yeah.
now. And I was really interested, and I've got it here. I want to give our audience that's watching as well as hearing us to give a little flavor of that, because I know you made a two-parter here, but so I'm going to play just part one.
Apparently, this test is supposed to tell you a lot about yourself. Imagine you've been on a long journey trying to find your way back home, and now you have to walk through a rainforest. You have 4 pets with you. You have a cow, a horse, a lion, and a monkey. But you're looking at the map and you're looking at the food supply, and you already know that not all 4 of them are going to be able to make it with you out of this rainforest. But it's the only way home. Immediately, you have to get rid of one of them. So out of the cow, horse, lion, and monkey, which one are you going to leave behind? Pause and think of your answer. Okay, so after you pick the one that you're going to leave behind, you and the remaining 3 walk into the rainforest and everything is going okay. You guys last a couple days, but the food supply is getting low. Luckily, you come across a man who says that he will trade you all of his food, which is a lot, in exchange for one of your pets. So out of the remaining 3, which one would you trade? Pause and think of your answer. So now you and the remaining 2 pets, you have all the food that you need, and you almost make it to the end of the rainforest when unfortunately your 2 pets get in a fight and you can only save one. So out of the remaining 2, which one would you save? Which pet is going to end up walking out of this rainforest with you? So the last pet standing by your side by the end of this journey is supposed to tell you a lot about what you value most in life. Get in the comments and let me know which pet was by your side by the end. And then check the comments for the interpretation video where I tell you what your answer says about you. Okay, so
Okay. Over 19 million views and counting. What? That's all. I don't even know. I know what I was asking, but what?
Yeah.
Did you know? How
So-
did this happen? How'd you do this? How'd you pull this off?
everything is strategy, right? At the same
Mhm.
time, it's always equal parts luck. It's almost like you can't tap into certain degrees of luck until you tap into certain degrees of strategy, right? And so a lot of my content, most of my content, the vast majority is about social phenomena, social constructs, sociology, and social history, right? But what I noticed early on was that style of content only goes but so far. So I'd started playing around with this idea of introducing what I call just topics of the day, right? Just general topics that get people talking, that get people in the comments, and it just introduce an element of fun with my content. And that
Interesting.
style videos always have the propensity to go to millions or more. So at this point, I have about 12, 13 maybe videos that have gone over 1 million. That video is my most viral video, but there is a video before that called The Wall Test, which is my second most viral video. So essentially what's been going on is it started with this idea of I want to start introducing topic of the days, which is just this fun element where I get to show my side, my psychology side, where I come up with some sort of psychological test, social test, and I test my ability to interpret people's answers. And over time, I've just gotten better and better at understanding what catches people's attention. And essentially, I'm at this point where I've learned that one of the most impactful and like captivating styled topic of the days that I can do is this kind of personality test type. And so that's what this is. This is a cultivation of tests. And yeah, people love it when you do personality tests. And so I just make these up. And then I do an interpretation video. And on the interpretation video, I ask people to let me know how accurate my interpretation was. So once again, right, I look at all of that data and then I try to improve. And so yeah, maybe the next one I do will go even further.
We love this one. We actually did this together as a team. I could hear everyone on the team honing in. They're like, all right, step 1, what animal am I leaving behind? I could just hear it.
Yeah.
I won't give away anybody's answers, but I liked the results for our specific team because it showed this loyalty within the group. It showed us that we were all on the same page. We didn't all have the same answer, but it showed that our team was loyal in the aspects where it needed to be loyal. Our leadership sat in the right place, and it was just a lot of fun. And then the follow-up video was really cool. We liked that piece too.
May I ask what the last animal by your side was?
My last animal was the horse. I was riding
Interesting.
the horse all the way through. and the monkey got left behind. And then I second guessed myself. I'm like, maybe having a monkey would have helped gather some food that
Yeah,
was out
go
of
up the
reach.
tree,
But then I'm
Dave.
thinking I can eat my
Mm,
cow. My cow was
mm,
never really a pet. I don't
yeah.
name I don't name the cow. Everyone else had a name. And I didn't
The
want to
horse is a
prank a
good one.
lion. Yeah.
The horse is a good one to end with, for sure.
You should
So
just get the horse all the way, get out of the rainforest quick. It wouldn't take very long.
I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at. So
No,
yeah,
it's
that was
great.
super fun. And those
That was
numbers are insane. So this is the thing about TikTok, like 19 million, and you pulled it up just now and I was able to watch it. And it has 1 million likes. It's like impossible to even fathom 1 million people actually taking the second to double tap that video. It's our brains are like, I don't get it. I'm not even going to try to wrap my head around that kind of a figure. It's absolutely insane. And that's why
it,
TikTok is so cool.
that's the other reason I want you here, because you are, again, the maven, the queen. I'm going to self-label you the queen of TikTok, because when I first sent you the first email, I got to have you, I got to talk to you. I got to find out what's in your brain. You were at a different point, and now you've got videos that are, people would kill to have that many, just one video that gets 1 million views, let alone you've got over a dozen. What is it about this video or some of the other ones that have garnered more views that a brand can learn about videos on TikTok and how to approach that? What's the learning
Yes.
lesson here?
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, I have a particular style of content, but then what I did is I introduced a somewhat adjacent style that really doesn't have much to do with my actual style, but it serves a completely different purpose. And so that is
Mm,
always the advice that I give brands is to open your minds to the idea of I understand that you might be here to sell your product. We can introduce a structure to where every video doesn't have to be about selling your product. Perhaps it makes more sense for you to release 1, 2, 3 videos a week that serve to only get eyes on your page. And
mm.
then once those eyes are there, they will go and they'll check out your other videos, to which those videos, the purpose is to actually sell your product. So, to instead of thinking about every single video as this is an opportunity to get a sale or this is the opportunity to get even brand awareness, the idea is maybe you can set up a funnel structure to where certain videos have that purpose, but other videos serve the purpose of strictly exposure. And I think that's like a really good strategy for brands to gnaw on.
How does a brand, a business, how do they find that voice? You've done it so eloquently with your storytelling, using personality traits, which people instinctively want to know. Am I a fighter? Am I a lover? Am I one of these personalities? And you put it in a very nice package of pets, because pets could be anything, right? They could be monkeys or chickens could be pets. Oh, how does a brand or a business find a voice? Do they use the voice of the brand of what they're known for, or something completely different? Just an idea. Here's what we think would be a good voice for us, and I mean that conceptually, a voice for us on TikTok.
Yes, I think that this is an amazing question. And my perspective is that brands, especially when, like you're saying, they don't necessarily know their TikTok voice, I think that an amazing thing to do would be to work with content creators, people
Mm,
who are experienced in storytelling, they're experienced with the platform. They know what is likely to get views and they understand, right? So I think that it'd be a great strategy for a brand when they're just getting on TikTok to spend the money to actually work with these content creators, because not only are they going to create really good content for you, but if you do it right, you're actually going to learn from them and hopefully you'll be able to do it on your own.
what surprises you most about more established brands that already feel they have a voice over here finding a TikTok voice? Are they open to suggestion? Are they trying to pull back? Do they even want to jump into the TikTok world? What surprises you with the more established brands?
Yeah, there's this thing that happens pretty much when any social network emerges, and that is that brands and people really. It's really human nature. When we find our flow on a platform, and there starts to be like this idea of, okay, now you have to find another flow somewhere else. People and brands are naturally going to want to just do cut, copy, paste, right? They're going to want to try what's working on Instagram over here. And there needs to be this level of open-mindedness to understand that what is working over here might not be the best strategy on TikTok. And so I would say that is what tends to make it tricky for more established brands, is that they believe themselves to be established on one platform. And so they automatically assume that it's already established on this platform. And they tend to lack that open-mindedness to learn the differences of the platform. But once you understand the differences, those are going to be the things that you can actually hack in order to get the results that you want to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Content creator, there's so many, and I know that you're working on an app that dives into this area for content creators. And as companies are evaluating TikTok, for those that are not using influencers to really give them that voice or promote their products and services, how would you say would be a good way for a business to evaluate if a particular content creator is right for them? Because they're not all the same, right? Some have huge audiences, some have smaller, but get better results. A
True.
lot of them are in the middle. Some are older, some are younger, some are skinny, some are bigger and taller, whatever. Does it matter at the end of the day that you're matched with the right type of influencer for your product or service, or no?
There are two answers in my head. It's yes and no. And so I think that the best way for me to explain it would be to briefly explain my TikTok journey.
All
Like
right.
I've been saying, my TikTok is about society. That's what it's about. But it wasn't always. I had to test a bunch of different ideas until I eventually arrived at this discovery that there was a need, there was an appreciation for my style of content. I wasn't a content creator before I got on TikTok. So I didn't have an Instagram that kind of already told me that this might work over here. I
Right.
had to really find it out through trial and error. And the beautiful thing about TikTok is that it actually encourages trial and error, because what you were saying earlier, you don't see my videos in chronological order. TikTok
Right.
might show you a video from a month ago, they might show you a video from 5 minutes ago. And so that kind of a dynamic actually gives us all the opportunity to experiment and to try different things, because it's not like users are going to be seeing your videos in chronological order. And it's not like the videos are going to your followers on TikTok. The majority of your views are going to be seen by strangers. So that is the perfect environment for experimentation. So what
Mhm.
I always try to recommend is to have that kind of experimentation mentality. So if I was a brand and I'm new to TikTok and I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't know which content creators to reach out to, what I would do is to reach out to get a variety. I would get a variety. I would try to differentiate. Obviously, you want them to be somewhat aligned with your mission, right? But I think that diversity is the way to go. And from there, you're just going to have to analyze all of the results and get closer and closer to the truth. And eventually, you will find it.
Get ready for a pro tip.
Pro tip numero uno for today. Experimentation is the key on a platform like TikTok, coming from the maven of TikTok herself, Felecia. I love that, because that means that there is no just one blueprint. That means that
Right.
there could be many blueprints in order to arrive at success on a platform like TikTok.
Precisely. And once again, right, I can't say it enough, because the more that I say it, the more that people have that aha moment. TikTok, when we post on TikTok, the majority of the views are going to be seen by strangers. So, what brands and even individuals really have to understand is that concept. That is why there's this idea of the importance of having a hook on TikTok is so prevalent. And that is because there's no context there. You have to assume that the people on the other end have no context into you, your brand, or what you're saying. That's why you
Mm.
have to deliver a hook, because you have to give them a reason to care. They don't automatically care because they're not actually your followers seeing your videos, right? And so the more and more that people, meditate on that idea of like, all right, every video I post has to be appropriate, has to be optimizing to be seen by strangers, the closer that people are going to get to understanding the type of content that they're going to deliver, the style, the speaking style, how fast they're going to have to arrive at the point, how valuable the video has to be. It all starts making sense once you realize that the video is being seen by strangers. And the other amazing thing, it's a beautiful thing that we've never really had from any other social network, is the fact that since our videos are being seen by strangers, it opens up this brand new opportunity to experiment, because if you do a bad experiment yesterday, if you did a bad experiment yesterday, it's unlikely that the people who view your video that you post today are going to be the same people who saw that one yesterday. So
Right.
experimentation is really the way to go on TikTok.
So the element of strangers watching your video, do you see that changing down the road? Internally, we talk a lot about SEO and cataloging, and we put a lot of extra effort into our descriptions with keywords because we feel that TikTok will become also utilized as a search engine. So do you think it's moving in a direction where we'll have less reach to the strangers?
I think that, let's say, I'll start here. So when I was growing my following for the first time, right? And it's been a steady progression, but I'll say that my personal story is that I challenged myself to a 30-day challenge, where for 30 days I said, Felecia, you're going to post 10 times a day for 30 days and we're going to see what happens. So at the start of that 30 days, I had 70 followers. And at the end of those 30 days, I had 70,000. I had just learned so much. And all of that knowledge that I gained in that short period of time, I continued to build upon, right? In the months that ensued. So when it comes to SEO, that is something that was introduced after I had already learned all of those things. I definitely think that it makes a huge difference. The SEO and the introduction of the importance of SEO on TikTok has completely changed the game in favor of brands and businesses. People like me, I gained those 70,000 followers at a time where perspectives were the most important thing. But now that search is the most important thing, it's a nuanced distinction, but it introduces this idea that it's actually more important to be useful than to be valuable. And so a way that I like to think about that is like art, right? Art is valuable. People spend millions and millions of dollars on art, but it's not particularly useful. So you can imagine how things can be different once those priorities are switched. So right now we're in this era where it's more important to be useful. It's because people are going to be searching for things, right? And you want to show up in the searches. And so you want to be very useful. Businesses tend to be useful. They tend to have products that serve use. And that is also why a lot of content creators who grew their following and caught their flow before the SEO, they might be experiencing declines in views now. And that is because perspectives are no longer the priority of TikTok. And so, yeah, I think that ultimately it is a good thing, because I think it's cool that a platform can give opportunities to businesses now. They can give opportunities to like educators and products. I think it's cool that the platform changes. And I think that is why right now, with the new importance of SEO, I think that it is the perfect time for brands to really try to figure out TikTok. There's never been a better time than now. SEO has been the thing that has been missing. And now it's perfect for brands. It's just perfect.
So you're saying dive in while the water is nice and warm.
Absolutely. Just how prospective content creators are having this experience of maybe I missed the wave. The wave is now in the favor of companies, businesses, brands, people who are selling products. This is your wave. This is your wave. Ride it.
And then imagine as a content creator, because so many brands are new to the TikTokification of what's happening, search becoming more important, search getting probably priority now this is the time to reach out to those folks that are really good pitch people, storytellers, combined with a full optimization on the description and everything else
Yes.
to allow videos to probably take off in a way that couldn't happen, like you said, when you started on your
Yep.
journey.
Precisely.
Man, Dave, you got to get on it. Maybe we can put you dancing there with Felicia. Maybe both of you guys can make a video. We're
No one
virtually
wants to see
match
me
you up
dance.
there.
Rolando did a dance off with a robot.
Oh,
the
that
other day.
yeah. Last week
That
with
sounds like an
Professor
interesting
Khan.
story.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds like prime TikTok content, like just what you described. Okay, Rolando doing a dance challenge with a robot. I can see the TikTok. That would go viral for sure.
He was trying to give a lot of credit to the
Macarena.
robot.
Yeah.
The robot had nothing on him at all.
Mm.
So that was on our last episode with Professor Khan. And she actually, which is interesting, we're talking about search. She's not on her robots are not on TikTok. And I said, hey, you got to get on it. There's very little content on robots to begin with. And it's actually serving a purpose. She's helping folks in nursery homes and folks with dementia. She's going to be working with a home that deals in neurology and therapy around that and using this robotic AI. And I said, you want more awareness? You got to get on there. And maybe we'll see
Absolutely.
more of her robots on TikTok.
I hope so.
Man, I want to ask you one other thing here, Felicia. So brands can be on TikTok. You've laid out a game plan for brands. One of the things that I keep hearing, a recurring theme, is that you as yourself, if you're an employee of a company or as a solopreneur, you want to get your personal brand out there. Where do you fall on this? There are companies that are small and some that are mega big, and they have employees, and maybe they're not really utilizing those employees or fullest to carry the water and the message. What's your advice to companies that want to do something, and every employee could essentially be a personal brand for themselves, but at the same time, ambassador for the brand? How does that work?
Yes. I think that it's a multi-layered phenomenon because historically, companies and brands have kind of feared the internet a little bit, right? It's
Indeed.
the fear of bad press kind of overwhelms the allure of good press, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's like the psychological shift that would need to occur in order for brands to arrive at the opportunity that you just described, because it absolutely is an opportunity. There's a brand that I follow that I talk about all the time because they're like an amazing case study, and they're called Oak Willow, and they create sustainable household products. Rather boring, if you ask me. No one would say that, oh, you should get on TikTok for sure. But they have had videos that have gone viral multiple times. They have sold out of their inventory multiple times. And yes, they have a bunch of content that is about the actual products, but the videos that go viral tend to be videos from the employees of that company talking about what it's like to work there, what it's like to work for them.
Mm.
They have a very interesting profit sharing plan. And those are the kind of ideas that go viral on TikTok. So once again, imagine there's a video of a company kind of talking about something that is interesting about their company or about their business or about working for them. That video goes viral, gets a bunch of exposure, and then you're going to get a certain percentage of those viewers who actually check out the profile. And when they go there, they're going to see videos of your actual product. If they need the product and they align with the philosophy of the video that went viral, that is the combination that gets people to buy on TikTok, right? But imagine if they were not open to talking about their company,
Right.
none of their videos would be going viral. Brands are going to need to be open-minded to those kinds of possibilities, but the ones that are, they'll see the benefits.
Wow. Wow. Masterclass on branding on TikTok. Felicia, you are amazing.
One other piece on the personal branding. So Rolando had touched on it. We have the companies that we work for, but I'm hearing more and more about the importance of branding yourself. And the example that you just gave, Felicia, with the workers of that brand would have videos also what it's like to work for the company. Are they posting that under their own personal TikToks? Or are they posting that under the Oak and Willow channels?
That is a great question. So I haven't explored that. I've only seen their posts on the Oak and Willow channel. Yeah, but that would be a really interesting experiment to run to see which is more effective. I'm not sure which one would be more effective. I can
Yeah.
see either way. I can see it playing out either way.
We think you have the insights like nobody can. Felicia, you've got a lot on your plate. You're working on so many things. What's in store for Felicia here in the near future?
Yes, I am so one of these people. So I don't know when this is going to air, but it is December to 2022. And I am so one of these people that like plans the next year and I develop a whole plan. I do like a whole reflection. And I'm so excited for 2023. Words cannot describe. Um, yeah, the content is going to be on another level because I'm going to have a creator studio. I'm so excited to have a
Nice.
creator studio.
A
When I moved
virtual
into
one or a
this
real one?
a real one. Oh, it's gonna
That's
be
awesome.
amazing. When I
Okay.
moved into this apartment, it is cool, right? So the aesthetics of my apartment definitely have helped me to go viral on TikTok. But I can only imagine the possibilities if I have a dedicated space. So I'm so excited about that. But a lot of my time and a lot of my thought energy is also going towards a tech product that I'm working on.
Mhm.
I am a software engineer, even though my content is rarely actually about tech. Again, right? I'm someone who's
Yeah.
obsessed with society. So, in all of the tech products that I create, that always tends to be where I want to lean, right? I want to develop some sort of tech product that brings us all closer together. And so that's what I'm working on. I'm working on an app designed for content creators to turn their followers into a community. And so we're developing all types of tools that creates that sense of community, that gives everyone the experience of community. And it's coming out in 2023, early 2023. And I absolutely cannot wait. I'm so excited.
That's
And I
awesome.
know that working on that must be a labor of love, right? Trying to get it right, make sure it represents you and
Absolutely.
fills the mission at the same time.
Absolutely. It's a lot of work, but I've launched some apps on the App Store before, and there is no feeling like being able to tell family member or friend, hey, you can check out something that I built. You can search for it on your phone. It's
Mm.
just the coolest thing. Maybe, like you said, maybe that's just the nerd in me, but I just think that's the coolest freaking thing of all times is for other people to be able to experience something that I built. It's
Yes.
insane to me. It's amazing.
So cool.
Discovery. I like it. I absolutely like. Let me see if I can get this thing up. There we go. There we go. Proper clap for Felicia and her app. You want to go check it? Does it have a name or is it still under wraps or?
It has a name, but I'm not sure if the name that it has now is going to be the launch name. So
Gotcha.
the best thing people can do is to definitely just follow me on TikTok or YouTube, and that's going to be Felicia for the win. And yeah, you'll be kept up to date with all of the advancements that happen in that regard.
Awesome, Felicia. I'm gonna, for those folks that follow us with the video, I'm showing Felicia for the win. I would imagine if folks want to get in touch with you, this is just one way to, well, probably multiple ways they can reach out to you on your website, Felicia for the win. And what else? How would you like folks to reach out to you?
No, that's perfect. It's always a treat when people email me. So right at the top, you'll see a button for my email, and that's how you get in touch. I can't wait to see what you send me.
You're just such a ray of sunshine, Felicia. You make me hopeful about the world. There's so much to
That's the
be.
goal.
There's
Team
so much.
Utopia in the future.
There's a lot to be cynical and we live in crazy times. And when I see like your smile there, it's a ray of sunshine. I'm looking right here at your website with you and you're just,
Yeah.
it just bring a smile to my face.
Yes.
Uh, and I'm
There's
sure you're
there's
bringing a smile to millions of people through your videos and teaching and all the social concepts that you put on your videos and all the time. Was there anything else that you had on your mind or you wanted to say, or you just feel like, I want to get this out before we wrap?
no, I've got nothing. This was an awesome talk. Thanks for having me. I would like to comment on your last bit that you just said there. It's just so true. And a lot of my content actually explores some of the unfavorable things that have happened in history. And I think a lot of people tend to process that as, oh, that's the reason to not have hope, or that's the reason why the future is going to be dystopian. And my perspective is always, no, that's the reason to be an agent for good. It's the reason to make sure that you do your part, right? We need you.
That's right.
So that means a lot to me, to be a ray of sunshine. And I encourage everyone to do their part in bringing more good to the world.
Oh, here. Hold on. Absolutely. 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 So, Felecia, it's been a pleasure. I love having you on.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to come back, you're always welcome. Maybe when you relaunch your app and that's ready to go and you want to announce it to the world here, to our audience, absolutely come back. I love talking to you. I love consuming your stuff. I even like some of the stuff that you're talking about, the dark stuff, like about crack,
Yeah.
and all of that. And it just also sheds light on some of the topics that we know about, but we probably don't know the full story.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a really interesting one that I'm about to record after I get off of this call. Hopefully it shows up on your For You page. I think you'll find it interesting.
All right. What is it about? We could plug it here, even if it's a couple weeks later, so people can look for it.
So it is about a time period in American history in which a particular group actually had initiatives to rewrite history textbooks and succeeded.
Ooh.
It's insane. I can't wait to get this off my chest.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
You remind me one last thing I want to ask you. I don't know if you had time to look at it. I said, would you happen to know how we got this whole no elbows on the table? Did you have any chance to
Yeah,
look at that?
so I did look into it, and so there are three reasons that are like most prevalent, right? First reason is that the whole no elbows on the table thing originated in England. And it's this idea that the tables back then, they were designed in such a way and like people communed around them in a way to which everyone was eating on one side. So if you put your elbows on the table, it would actually screw up the distribution of weight. And it presented this opportunity for the table to lean over, right? And so it became this thing where it's just don't put your elbows on the table.
Oh,
So that's one thing, right?
Uh.
The second explanation, or the second explanation, is that it's just bad for your digestion. So it's this idea that the posture that you have when your elbows are on the table, your ribs are caved in an interesting way, and that it makes it harder for you to digest your food. But the most popular answer, and I really searched for it, the most popular answer is that there is no reason at all. It's this idea that it's just one of these social phenomenons that have just been passed down from generation to generation. Essentially, it's because I said so. It's a product of because I said so.
see.
And that people don't even know. But all they know is that my mom said it, so I'm going to tell my kids.
Interesting. So it could be because tables collapsed because
Yeah.
everybody's on one side, hunched over, or absolutely no reason.
Exactly.
Just because.
Because it looks poor. If someone's sitting in front of me and they have their elbows on the table, I have
Yeah.
to look at that. Why? Because I don't want to look at it.
Something about it seems aggressive, right? It's hard
Right.
to really explain. Maybe it just makes people feel uncomfortable. I don't know.
Really? I thought I'd ask the pro when it comes to these social constructs. And so you've left me with a conundrum here. I don't know. I'm going to have to dig into it and see if I can find more, but it's fascinating. Social construct expert Felecia Freely on the podcast today. We've got her first episode. She kicked off our new podcast audio format. That's available on circuitloops.com. We've enjoyed having her today. If you want more, check that episode along with others that appear on that page. Again, that's circuitloops.com, and we will see you there.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so fun.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to What the Tech. Be sure to check out our other episodes featuring awesome tech and amazing guests. Find them on circuitloops.com or wherever you consume your favorite podcasts.